Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and greetings to the examiners. I am Muhammad Razik bin Rosli and today I will be presenting on my final year project entitled Utilization of Date, Phoenix dactylifera L as substitutes for flour and sugar in the production of cookies and its physicochemical properties, which was done under the supervision of Dr. Azizah Othman. First, let me give an overview about dates. Dates of Phoenix dactylifera L contain high nutrition of fiber, protein, potassium, and other trace minerals. It is a food with high energy content and beneficial to health. In the meantime, according to Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations FAO, in 2020, global date production was more than 9.45 million tons, while the dates had been identified to be produced 10% of it. The issues arise when date seeds being used as animal feed or discarded as waste. In addition, daglet nur dates were also identified to have the shelf life of only 154 days. Besides that, dates flesh powder can be used as replacer for sugar, while seed powder can be substitute of flour. However, until now, the study on the incorporation of both powder from the flesh and seed in cookies had never been published. Therefore, this study will provide an insight on full utilization of dates as zero waste fruit to minimize and save the production cost. Other than able to contribute to well-being of humans through consumption of functional food from inexpensive source of dietary fiber, and extend the shelf life of dates to reduce wastage of overripened dates by converting into more stable forms. The objective of this study were to determine the nutritional content, physical properties, and sensorial attributes of dates-based cookies. Moving on to the literature review, dates are among the older fruit tree in the world, with Egypt is known as the top producer in 2020. Dates were highly respected among the three major religions and beneficial in nutrition, environment, economy, and ornament. Next, dates contain about 85 to 92% of edible parts, which ripen through 5 stages of maturation that can be classified into hababuk, kimri, halal, rutab, and tamar. In this world, there were more than 1,500 varieties of dates, with medjool, daglet nur, and barhi are being widely consumed and has high demands in the market. In terms of composition, dates are high in carbohydrates and fiber. Interestingly, dates contain beta-D-glucan, which has great anti-cancer activity. Dates also high in phytochemical and antioxidants that enhance the pharmacological, nutritional, and sensorial properties. As for the applications, dates have been eaten as daily consumption or supplemented with other foods. Other than being processed into a variety of products, dates also have been incorporated in various bakery products. In terms of acceptance, incorporation of dates had increased the physical and sensorial properties of food products, which in previous studies had shown cookies with 30% of dates flesh powder yield better organoleptic properties, and cookies with 15% of dates seed powder contain high fiber with longer shelf life. Moving on to the methodology. The dates being used in this study was daglet nur dates, which were then being deseeded in order to produce dates flesh powder DFP and date seed powder DSP. For the powders, a phytochemical analysis had been conducted to identify the total phenolic content TPC and the total flavonoid content TFC. Both powders were then incorporated into dates cookies with 4 different formulations and being analyzed for nutritional composition, energy content, physical analysis, and sensory analysis. All the results were then be treated with one-way analysis of variance ANOVA for significance of differences. Coming on to the main highlight of this study, which were the results and discussion. For phytochemical analysis of dates powder, the results were in agreement with TPC reported by Al-Faris et al. 2021, while slightly lower than those reported by Echigari et al. 2021 for TFC. It is known that the concentration of phytochemicals will decrease as dates had reached maturity. Proximate analysis conducted on the dates-based cookies had shown interesting results, as it can be observed that there were increasing amount of carbohydrates as the level of substitution increased. Nevertheless, Decrease in protein and moisture were observed in cookies with higher level of substitution. These nutritional contents obtained were similar with the finding of Abushal et al. 2021. Next, no significant difference in fat and ash content observed in the cookies. As the fat content was mainly contributed by the margarine used in formulation, as expected, the fiber content of the cookies increased with higher level of dates powder. Results for energy value had shown highest energy in DSP15 cookies. Based on Gnimi et al. 2017, 100 grams of degraded nut dates will provide around 271 kilocalories of energy. As stated by Abushal et al. 2021, dates has the potential to be utilized as cheap source of energy. Furthermore, physical analysis of the cookies had shown that DSP5 had the highest spread ratio that indicate better formation of cookies. The trend in hardness were in line with previous studies by Shabnan et al. 2020 and Najar et al. 2022, which had higher substitution, had produced softer cookies. Decrease in hardness was due to the reduce in gluten content by substitution of wheat flour with dates seed powder. However, consumers were more preferred to crunchy and hard cookies. Water activities of cookies in this study were obtained between the range of 0.38 to 0.44, with the lowest was found in the SP15 cookies. Based on Schmidt and Fontana 2020, water activity of cookies products were in the range of 0.1 to 0.6489, and lower water activity will be better for inhibition of microbes. For color analysis, significant decrease in lightness and yellowness while significant increase in redness were observed as level of dates powder substitution increased, which in agreement with previous report. Change in color was significantly affected by myeloid and caramelization reaction. Finally, for sensory analysis, the attributes of color, smell, texture, taste, and overall acceptability were identified. Similar results were obtained with Amin et al. 2020, which lower score were given to cookies with darker color. No significant difference between all cookies in smell except for the SP10 that might be affected to burnt aroma due to overbaking. For texture, decreased score in hardness were reported in higher level of dates powder substitution, which in agreement with previous literature. Inconvenient results were reported for the overall acceptability that differ with the previous findings that presented better acceptability with incorporation of date seed. Coming on to the conclusion, it can be identified that date seed powder contain higher phenolics and flavonoid content than the flesh. Next, substitution of both date seed and flesh powder will produce cookies with low moisture but high in carbohydrate and fiber. In terms of physical properties, lower L star value and hardness and water activity were reported in the cookies. No significant difference was observed in color, texture, taste, and overall acceptability of cookies at different levels of substitution. Therefore, the formulation of 30% DFP and 5% DSP could be recommended for incorporation in cookies. For future analysis, further studies on mineral contents could be conducted to identify more detailed nutritional composition of dates-based cookies. There shall be comparison with commercial high-fiber cookies that are readily available in the market to study on the acceptance of dates-based cookies. Most importantly, the method of addition shall be taken into account instead of substitution for utilization of both components of dates in cookies. And here are the list of references used in this presentation. That is all from me. Thank you.